Alright, so the UK is officially out of its lockdown, meaning that non-essential shops are now open, meaning that we can now go into these non-essential shops and spend our money like good little capitalists that we are. And I am no different. 2 days from lockdown being over and I'm already in the stores trying to get my grubby little mitts on all of the Black Series figures I can get my hands on. So this is the first of many to come figure hunting videos. If you enjoy it, make sure you press the like button. I'm saying this like it's a fucking outro. So anyway, I've got some videos of the shops I went into, and then we will get into what I bought, and I'll do an unboxing and review of everything at the end. Sound good? Great, I'll catch you there. Alright, so the first stop on our figure hunting journey was the legendary Forbidden Planet. This is my local Forbidden Planet. 2 days out of lockdown, as you can see, quite well stocked. Lots of Black Series figures there. They also had quite the decent sized collection of retro 3.5s. We got a couple of archive editions up there with Luke in his fighter pilot outfit. A couple of heavy Mandalorians. Got a Dark Side Rey, an Ahsoka, probably not for £50, which is nice. Some shelf warming Jar Jar Binkses. Couple more retros. Couple more 6-inch retros too, those aren't too bad. And back to the archives, we got an Admiral Thrawn there and a Cody. Looks like Han in his Hoth gear. You can see a carbonized 3.5 Cara Dune down there. Got a Yoda. Just on the bottom shelf, don't know if you can quite make out, but there is a credit edition Cara Dune hiding behind another figure. Couple more Black Series here. Some in the newer boxes. Got an Outer World Jawa. I was kind of tempted to get that, but decided against it. Coming down to the bottom. Couple shelf warmers. We got a lot from the new trilogy. There's Poe Dameron, of course. Did have the Scout Trooper from Jedi Fallen Order. And a couple of deluxe figures up at the top with a heavy Mandalorian, Luke and Yoda and General Grievous. And obviously I couldn't help myself, but I had to take a quick look at the Godzilla display. Forbidden Planets always seem to have a really good, well stocked Godzilla section. Alright, so the next shop I went into was actually a local stall at a marketplace. This guy had tons of retro Star Wars figures, loads of different play sets. You can see here, tons of different old school like vehicles, all in the original boxes, all in really good nick, all intact. You just had walls just covered with them. Okay, so here is a look at the inside of the guy's shop. Tons of vintage Star Wars figures along the back wall, all in their original packaging, looking really mint, nice and clean. He also had quite a couple of boxes stacked with loose figures in bags. And here are the only Black Series figures I managed to find. Of course, the Leia, who haunts my dreams continuously. Of course, she had to be here. I did end up purchasing the Han Solo Midvan Trooper, but ended up filming my Victory Royale in vertical mode like a complete smooth brain. Alright, so the next shop I went into was Smith's, the toy shop, and this was a pretty big miss. They had a big fat 0 in the way of Black Series figures, which is weird because I have found Black Series figures here before. Did have Lando in 6-inch form retro, but that was no good to me. But what they did have was this awesome Frilo Red, which you know your boy put in his collection. They did have this display as well, but again, nothing too good there. Did end up finding one Black Series figure, but yeah. Next up was a long shot, but it was the game store. They did have a couple Star Wars bits, including this awesome Boba Fett helmet, Lego form, and a little baby Yoda. But yeah, no Black Series figures whatsoever, unfortunately. I did find this really cool pin set, but it was $24.99. If this was like, I don't know, maybe like £10, I would have got it, but it had some really sweet pins in here. Check out Broly sneaking into the video. So yeah, some really dope pins here, but I'm just not sure if they're $24.99 worth. Alright, so the final shop I went into was the Disney store, trying to get hold of some of those Disney exclusives. You can see pretty slim pickings here. So this wasn't actually anything related, I just saw these two and thought it was kind of cool. Alright, so that's going to do it for the vlogging section of this video. I'm actually going to show you now what I bought during my figure hunting, and we're going to do an unboxing and reviewing of everything I bought. So stick around and check it out. Alright, so we made it safely back to the studio from our expedition to the outside world, taking a look around the toy shops for the first time since lockdown. Glad to have come back to some sort of normality, doing our first ever figure hunt video here on the KiddZilla Archive YouTube channel. Got ourselves a nice big bag of Black Series 6-inch figures and some retro background figures. It was 5 figures total. We're going to go through all the figures that we picked up in today's figure hunt. We're going to unbox them, take a look at the figures and do a quick review of each of them. So let's get started. Alright, so the first shop that we went into is a personal favourite of mine. It is Forbidden Planet, my local Forbidden Planet shop. Not been in there since obviously the last lockdown, and we picked up 3 figures from this location, 3 very interesting figures. So the first of the 3 figures that we picked up is the Imperial Snowtrooper from the Hoth scene. As you can see, we went for the retro background backing. I don't know if there is a Black Series Imperial Snowtrooper. I don't know if I've ever seen one, so I did end up getting one with the back card. I know I said in earlier videos that I'm not one for ripping figures from cards, but I have kind of eased up on that rule recently, and I've been going kind of crazy with the archive editions, just ripping them off. So I will be doing that here in today's video. Make sure you skip past that if you're an inbox collector. But this is definitely one of my favorite all-time Stormtrooper looks. I just think it's super intimidating, even more intimidating than the regular Stormtrooper helmet. Just that kind of like executioner style cloth mask underneath the top half of what is like a Stormtrooper helmet. I just absolutely love this design. The one thing I will say I'm not super duper fond of is this kind of like yellowy tone that the rest of the clothes are. It kind of stands out a lot, seeing as how his armor is white and it just looks like it's unpainted almost. This is the 40th anniversary edition, so we do have the seal up at the top left corner for The Empire Strikes Back. And yeah, just overall one of my favorite figures and characters. Just a shame about the weird off-white sort of color of the Under Armour. I can't remember if that's how it was in the film. It's been a while since I've watched Empire Strikes Back, but I kind of feel like it was in this image on the side. I kind of feel like it was all white, but oh well, it still looks dope, and it is definitely a figure I've been after for a while. So let's take a quick look at the packaging. We'll get him unboxed and take a closer look. So taking a look at the packaging, as you can see at the bottom, it's $19.99. I think that's about regular RRP for a 6-inch retro backing Star Wars figure. At least they've actually put it on the plastic bubble and not on the card. Because if you remember back to the Star Wars Black Series showcase collection I was doing when I first started the channel, I think it was either part 1 or 2, I showcased off a Darth Maul that I actually got from Forbidden Planet. It was a 3.5 Darth Maul that I had in my collection just to be a placeholder until I could get a 6-inch Darth Maul. And they had actually put the price tag on the card, and when I went to take it off, as gently as I could, it ripped the card because the adhesive had stuck to the card and took a bit off with it. So it's nice to see them actually putting it on the bubble plastic. Let's hope they keep that theme up with the next 2 figures. We've got a really nice picture of the Imperial Snowtrooper here on the right. It's in that retro Kenner style packaging, which is nice to see. It's a nice flash to the past. Turning it around and we can see who else is in the set. So they did have everybody but Vader from this set, and I've actually owned this Vader before. If you remember back to another older video, I actually ended up getting rid of him in turn for a Black Series Vader. They've also got Luke Skywalker in his Dagobah outfit, Chewbacca and Boba Fett. Got a bit of a description here at the bottom. So it is still Black Series. I never know what to call these because I feel that they're different to the Black Series because they're in the retro packaging, but this is still Black Series, so it's nice to have confirmation. And yeah, just a bunch of text down at the bottom. So that's it for the packaging. So let's do the unholy and rip him from his cardboard backing. Again, I like to try and do this as gently as I can, because I do like to keep the cardboard back ends, even though they are pretty much ruined. I still think it's neat to keep a hold of them. I'm definitely just not a hoarder. At least that'll be the excuse I give. So I think it's taped along this bottom here. So I'm just going to get a knife and quickly cut this bottom so I don't just completely rip it out. I know there's full-blown tutorials on YouTube to how to unbox a figure like this, but in all honesty, I'm not looking to display it really, so I kind of don't mind. I think that was actually probably the cleanest I've ever got one of these figures off. Then again, I've never actually discarded one of these 6-inch retro back ends. I don't think that's too bad at all. So we'll just put that off to the side for now. Alright, so now we can take a look at our figure outside of his plastic casing. Here he is. Comes with 2 weapon accessories, and the backpack looks like it's molded onto his back. You might be able to pop it off, but usually if you can pop it off, it's part of the accessories. Not too sure. Gonna pop him out of his bubble and we can take a closer detailed look. Alright, so let's start by taking a look at his weapons. I think we've seen this weapon model before. It is just a long rifle from the looks of it. It does have some quite decent detail work on there though. Gotta say, it is weathered, which is a nice touch because not all guns are made equally at Hasbro. Sometimes they're just a nice plain colour like a black or a silver. Every now and then they do put a bit of attention into the guns, so that's always nice to see. And then we lose all of that straight away. Seems like the must make 1,000,001 of these down at the Hasbro factories. It's just the regular old Stormtrooper Blaster. I think I own like 50 of these now. No weathering on this at all. Exactly what I was talking about a second ago. Oh well. 1 out of 2 is not bad. And here is the figure. It's very hefty, very heavy figure. That will be in part to the backpack. This thing is quite heavy on its own. It does seem to pop off. So it could be a case of they just didn't have enough room to display it as an accessory, but usually like to put backpacks as an accessory because it's a good excuse to have an extra accessory on display. But here he is. Let's get a close-up at that mask. There is just something extra intimidating about the Imperial Snowtrooper look. With that cloth material, it is all hard plastic, but I kind of feel like that was the better of the 2 decisions. I feel like if this was cloth, it probably wouldn't have come off as good. He does definitely have that executioner style look, and the black eyes are a lot smaller as well than they are in usual Stormtroopers. Makes him look a bit more sinister. Bit of detailing in the midsection, a couple buttons. Seems like he has screw, but it's not. Just another bit of detailing on his belt. He's got some white knee pads and there is a bit of snow detail. One of his heels are just completely off to the side. There we go, fixed it. So there is actually a bit of snow detail on the boot here. There's not anywhere else. Like, because of this off-white colour that they've gone for, they could have, you know, smudged on a bit of white sort of spray effect, kind of give it the look of it's been in the snow. But there is a bit of attention to detail at the bottom here. The bottom of this is a little bit dirty, so they are giving it some attention to detail. But those boots definitely have some snow effect on them, as if they've been walking out in the snow, which is appreciated. Let's get a look at the bottom of that cape. So it does look dirtied up. Top half of the figure completely plain, no weathering or anything like that. Here's the back. Nice big hole in it. Back of the mask. There is a mold line, but it's not very noticeable. Probably won't pick up at all on camera. Just goes over the top. But yeah, love it. Here is a quick look at the backpack. Couple buttons. Bit of Star Wars text. I always forget what that what their language is. And there's the backpack. So what I'll do is I'll get his guns in hand and we can take a complete look at the figure. Alright, so both guns fit in his hand rather nicely. He does have 2 trigger fingers, so the guns do slot in very easy, no resistance. The hands actually aren't too stiff like we're used to with the Black Series figures. Yeah, it looks very cool. It's just a shame this gun doesn't have the same amount of weather work that the rifle does. Probably would have made the figure look a bit more complete because he's got this nice clean rifle, but other than that, it is definitely a solid figure and one I'm happy to add to the collection of Stormtroopers. It's ever growing. Alright, moving on. Alright, so sticking with the Hoth theme, next up we have Princess Leia in her Hoth gear. So I don't know if you noticed in the beginning of the video where I showed you me walking through the stores and taking a look at the figures, they actually did have this figure in the Black Series version. I think it was a couple pound more expensive, so I did cheap out and go for the backing card. It was the exact same figure. I did take a closer look. The exact same figure with the exact same accessories, so it's just interesting to know that they released a retro card version and a regular Black Series version. So this is exactly like the Imperial Snowtrooper backing. It's the original Kenner. Again, also 1999, but this time annoyingly they have put the sticker on the backing, which means most probably the backing will rip, but again, luckily for me, I'm not an inbox collector, so shout out to Forbidden Planet. We do have some different characters to collect this time on the back. We have got Luke in his Bespin gear, Yoda with his orange snake, there is Leia herself, Han Solo Bespin, and the AT-AT driver. I believe they had the Yoda and obviously the Leia, but I don't think they had Luke, Han, or the AT-AT driver. But yeah, I did genuinely just buy this because it was the couple pound cheaper. I like to cheap out when I can. And yeah, so let's get her off the card and take a closer look at the figure and the accessories. Alright, okay, so I managed to get Leia from her back in. So not as well as the Imperial Snowtrooper, but not too bad. I did end up cutting off a bit of a hand there, but oh well. I also managed to get the 1999 sticker off quite easy too. So as you probably saw in the opening, the Forbidden Planet store local to me was quite well stocked, which is nice to see after a long lockdown. Here we have Leia and her plastic little shell. Come with 3 accessories. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not sure what all 3 of these accessories are. I feel like this is like a wrench. I've been playing Star Wars Vader Immortal, and I think this is one of the tools you use in it. Also go check out that Let's Play if you haven't already on the channel. Comes with a different looking rifle. We've never got a rifle like this in the Black Series before that I've unboxed, at least, and have in my collection, with the silver ending. Kind of looks a bit like a trooper rifle, but with some sort of silver barrel on it, and some cool welding goggles. So maybe this is a weld. That would make sense. Okay, so let's take a look at the accessories and then we'll take a look at the figure. So yeah, here we have this tool. Again, I'm not sure, probably a welding tool, seeing as actually comes with goggles for it. Kind of looks like a tattoo gun a bit. But yeah, not too much going on there. Detail wise, it's a bit too small to make out loads of detail on it, but it's definitely a thing. We've got some welding goggles. These are pretty cool. A nice greeny blue colour. And last but not least, a blaster rifle. Again, like I said, a silver end. It's nice to see variation in the blasters. No weathering on the body though, disappointingly. Now onto the figure. Finally, a Princess Leia figure in my collection that isn't completely hideous. This is my second Leia figure now. Obviously the infamous bathrobe Leia, shower curtain Leia with the terrifyingly swollen face. This makes a nice change. This is definitely Carrie Fisher. Or possibly Millie Bobby Brown. I can't help but see that now whenever I see Leia. It is definitely an odd resemblance between the two, but that's besides the point. This is 100% Carrie Fisher. The face scan on this has a lot of detail. It's very photo-like. The iconic hairstyle. So we have her in a Hoth outfit here. It comes with a jacket which you can take off from the looks of it. Obviously probably leaving that on. It is all white, so I'm not sure if the camera's picking up this detailing on the back here, but there's like a cross stitch sort of design on the jacket to make it look puffy like a winter's coat. She does have some ranks there on her side. I think that's what they're called, like military ranking. Take a quick look at that there. She's also got a bit of detailing on her wrist here. Kind of makes it look like a cyborg Leia. And that is pretty much it. I don't want to undersell this figure because it is definitely one of my favourite Princess Leia figures that I've seen. But it's pretty straightforward for detail and things to show off. Again, the face scan is incredible and it is an iconic look for Leia. But that is pretty much it for things to show off. So we'll get her with her accessories and we'll take a final look at Leia. So they have given her a trigger finger for this hand. So this finger is basically supposed to go into the hole in the blaster, but her hand is just too small for the gun. So the finger doesn't actually reach the blaster hole area. Not sure what you'd call it. So it does sit in a hand, but it does look kind of awkward. I've got it to sit somewhat comfortably there in that position. You see it just kind of squashes the trigger finger down a bit, but yeah, it's not too bad. Just don't mess with it too much because the gun will fall out. So with the goggles fitted to her head and her tool in hand, this really does look like a complete figure now. Like I was saying, it is a bit of a plain looking figure, although it is really well done, but with the goggles on her head and that whatever tool it is in her hand, the figure does definitely look a lot more complete, and very big fan, especially of the face photogenic like look. Very cool. All right, moving on to the next figure. All right, so my final pickup from the Forbidden Planet store is the highly controversial Gina Carano Cara Dune credit series collection from The Mandalorian. So I actually had bought this figure. If you remember back to my Cara Dune situation video I made earlier on the channel, you will have noticed I said that I was getting a credit edition coming in the mail. I didn't make an update to it because I didn't really see the point. Everybody knows that Zavi is complete shit, and eventually they just essentially ended up cancelling my order and saying that they didn't have the stock for Cara Dune, and they ended up refunding me. So I walk into Forbidden Planet and what do I see? A Cara Dune figure. This is definitely the cheaper of the two, the easier to come by. Clearly I just picked this off a shelf. There was two in the store. I could have been a bastard and got both of them and flipped the other one for 40 and had this figure nearly pay for itself, but I left it on the shelf. I'm not a scalper, I'm not like that. Hopefully somebody else who's been looking for this figure can pick it up for themselves. Just wanted to make sure you could all see my halo shining brightly. Let's take a quick look at the packaging for this. Definitely a dope figure. Now I am gonna just do the usual I'm not an inbox collector speech that I do. It's becoming kind of famous here on the KiddZilla Archive YouTube channel, but I will be keeping this in box. I have made my decision. I unboxed basically every figure that I have except my Black Series Cara Dune and now the Credit Cara Dune. I will get a bit closer up and have a quick look at her in a packaging. I just wanted to make sure that that was clear. This is the final figure I got from the Forbidden Planet store, so I did open 2 of the 3, but this one will just be staying in its packaging. I just prefer it that way. One day I might open it, might make a YouTube video of me opening it when I feel more comfortable to, but for now, just with the backstory of this and just you know, the situation. I'm not looking to scalp it or throw it up for £1,000,000 one day. It's just, you know, with the backing, once I rip it off, the backing will be ruined. And this is such a unique figure that, you know, you're not going to see a lot of in the future, I imagine, especially closed like this. So I'm going to try and keep this closed. I'm going to try and resist the urge to open it. But let's take a closer look at the packaging and the figure inside the packaging. So we've got a nice illustration of Cara Dune there. It does seem to be Gina Carano-like. Again, not sure if I'm saying that name right, but then again, I don't really care. The Mandalorian at the top. We've not got a what you can collect in the series set, which like is something we usually get on the back. Can't see like the Mandalorian or IG-11 or anything like that. We just get another nice image. I'm not too sure what she's doing here. It's a bit confusing. She's fighting somebody, and it seems like she's got a laser shooting from a belt, something like that. I've got no idea. A bit of text, a bit of blurb. And that's your lot for the box. This is my first ever credit collection figure. They do come with these credits at the top. It's just a thin bit of plastic. Not really worth cracking it open for. But I hope this will do. I know it's not as good as me taking it out of the box and giving you a full look at the figure, but I hope you can understand my reasoning for keeping it in box. And I hope this will suffice. So she does come with 3 accessories, a knife, pistol, and big old Gatling gun, sort of chain gun with 2 drums. And yeah, pretty good. I gotta say, I do prefer the Black Series Cara Dune. I just feel like the face is a bit off on this, and I'm not sure about the hair with a bit of pink and blue in it. She didn't have that in the show. And also the armor coloring is very odd, but I think that's kind of the idea of the credit collection. Like, the Mandalorian's got a very odd figure. They all look a bit weird, and I think the heavy Mandalorian's black, so I think these are supposed to be like alternate universe takes on the character or something like that. I'm not 100% sure, as I've not really done a lot of research into the credit collection. But yeah, finally, Cara Dune credit collection is in my collection. Yeah, so once again, fuck Zavi, but again, I'm pretty sure everybody who collects figures knows that Zavi's not to be trusted. Paid $24.99 for this, which isn't too bad. Obviously, online it's going for £30–40. The price of these has definitely dropped, like I predicted they would. Originally, the credit edition was going for $60–80, and now it's back down to a more reasonable $30–40. But again, pick this off the shelf for $24.99, which you can't complain. And I did leave one on the peg, so hopefully somebody else managed to get that and has completed their collection maybe, or gotten a figure that they've wanted. Yeah, so that was all 3 of the figures that I picked up from Forbidden Planet. Let's move on to the next shop and figure. So the next shop I ended up getting a figure from during my figure hunting was a small little run shop by just one guy on his own, and he had a bunch of Star Wars figures in there, mostly retro, which you've seen in the intro of the video. But he did have a couple of Black Series figures hidden at the bottom of a pile, and I did have a look at what he had. He had a couple of figures, but the only one I was really interested in is this Han Solo Midvan soldier. This is one that I've wanted for a long while now. I really just dig the look. I don't really care that it's Han Solo. Once you put the mask on, it can just be a regular soldier. I just really dig the look, and it is a really just highly detailed figure. You can tell that without even taking it out of the packaging. So I picked this up for £18, which I think is quite good for an inbox figure. And like I said, this wasn't like a chain store or anything. This was just a guy with a stall set up, and he had a bunch of different figures, but he did have a lot of Star Wars figures, and I think £18 isn't bad. There is a lot of box damage. This is hardly a perfect figure, but it is factory sealed. So let's take Han out of his box, and we'll take a quick look at the figure and do a quick review. So I've seen a lot of reviews about the Solo movie. It's mostly mixed, but it does seem to be weighing on the negative side a little more. I thought it was alright. I didn't love it, but I definitely didn't hate it. I thought Childish Gambino as Lando was a fine pick, and I can't remember the name of this gentleman who played young Han Solo, but I thought he did just fine. It's probably my favourite out of all of the more modern day Star Wars spin-off films like Rogue One and those other Star Wars like movies. So here we have the figure itself. It comes with 2 accessories. There's like a respiratory piece here for his mouth and a gun, a very unique looking gun. Again, we'll getting some new weaponry today in this unboxing video. That is a completely different rifle to anything I have. And yeah, some really great detailing going on here. He does have a hard cape, kind of looks a bit like the Mandalorian cape from the Black Series. Yeah, Beskar Mandalorian cape. So we'll take him out of his plastic shell, take a look at the accessories, and take a look at the figure. Okay, so here is the first of his accessories, of the 2 accessories that he comes with. It is a respiratory mask, respirator. I guess it's for gases and stuff like that. And he's fighting in the war. It does come with 2 clips on the end, so it obviously hooks into somewhere, probably the top half of his mask. Not sure if you can count this as an accessory, but I guess the fact that you can take it on and off would make it an accessory. Don't know, depends how you feel about that. Next up we have this really awesome heavy like LMG style rifle. It's very weathered. It's got some dirt texture into it. See, it's that silver colour with like a black wash. Really makes the details of the gun stand out. Just something that simple, just making it a shiny silver with a bit of black wash over it makes all of the ridges and scratches and all those small nooks and cranny and details just pop out. Really like this rifle. Again, it's unlike anything I have in my collection through Black Series figures, so stoked to have a new weapon. Okay, so this figure just fell to pieces as I was taking it out of the packaging. We've got the goggles here from the top of his helmet and his cape. I'm not sure if this is supposed to pop off the way it did, but it absolutely did. As I was taking it out, it just popped right off. It seems to, just because it's so thick, just sit on his shoulders like that. And it looks a bit weird, but it's inoffensive. It's not getting in the way, and it doesn't come off unless you give it a fairly decent shake. But I'll get the goggles back on him. They just sit right on top of the mask like that. It kind of looks like Kylo Ren's mask, at least the eye section, obviously. Yeah, the cape is really awkward. Don't know, there's no like holes or anything where it would like permanently click upon, so I'll take a look at that before I give off a more in-depth look at the figure. But let's start with his cape. So this is a pretty good looking cape. I mean, it is that hard plastic material, which I know some people don't like. It's that hard rubber, but it is weathered. It has a snow effect on it, which is pretty cool, gotta say, pretty cool. It's always cool to see them pay attention and give details. There's also holes in it. You can see my fingers poking through there. So, very cool cape. Let's have a quick look at the face scan. Again, you can't see too much of the head because it is under this helmet. I'm not sure if you can pop the helmet. It does seem like you can pop the helmet off. No, you can't. Okay. I was close then, I was close to doing it, but it seems to be glued down just here at the forehead, just over the forehead. You can move the chin strap up, but from what you can see of the face scan, it's pretty good. It's not too bad. There is some damage to the helmet for sure. Lots of mud and other different types of dirt built up on the helmet. Same for his chest piece. And just basically all the way around his armor. His back's clean, which is normal for a Black Series figure. Don't focus on the back. And the feet have the same sort of snowy effect detailing. All of this is a soft rubbery plastic, but the middle section is a harder plastic for his armor. And yeah, just a really nice looking figure here. Really detailed. Definitely stands out amongst the rest. Might as well take a quick look at his goggles, seeing as how they just popped off. And even the details in these, which just sit on top of his mask, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool to see. So we will get his accessories on him and we'll take a final look at our Han Solo. I just wanted to show you really quickly, this is where the respirator clips into. We've got two of these and they just pop into his back piece there and come around to the front of his face. I'm just going to go ahead and say this has to be one of my favourite Black Series figures that I own. Absolutely, this thing is incredible. It makes sense that the cape pops off so you can get the mask in, and the cape actually sits a lot nicer with the mask in place. But you can actually just pull the goggles down a bit and completely cover the face. I mean, if you don't want to see this as Han Solo from that Solo film you didn't really like, I mean, it can just be a Midvan, I hope I'm saying that right, Midvan Trooper. That sounds weird, but yeah, this thing is just absolutely incredible. It's one of the most detailed figures I've ever seen from the Star Wars Black Series collection. Absolutely incredible. The gun, the outfit, the mask, everything just is perfect. I'm actually annoyed that I waited so long to get a hold of this, but I'm glad I did, because $18.99 is a steal of a price. You see this thing usually go for around £25 unboxed. So yeah, extremely happy with this figure. Definitely one of my favourite of all time. Alright, moving on to the next shop. So the final shop I ended up buying something from was the Disney store. They didn't have anything in the way of Star Wars Black Series figures, but then again, my Disney store never does. I've seen a lot of people posting pictures ever since lockdown has come out of their Disney stores, and other Disney stores have loads of Black Series figures and even Black Series lightsabers. My local Disney store definitely stocks the Star Wars stuff. We got 106, the Sith Jet Trooper. Again, this is a modern figure. This is from the new trilogy, so this is a more modern character. Again, I didn't really like too much design-wise from the new trilogy, but the Sith Troopers are really cool. The full red, obviously we've got the regular Stormtroopers, which are white, and then you've got the Death/Purge Troopers, which are black, and now we have the Sith Troopers, which are red. And this is the Jet Trooper, comes with a really interesting mask, which is different to the regular Sith Trooper, which is just a regular Stormtrooper mask usually. And he does come with a really unique, cool looking gun. So I got this on sale for $13.99. Again, from the start of the video, you saw me showing what Disney Store had, and they had this and some battle droids, and I already own a battle droid. Well, I will soon enough when I eventually arrive. So I didn't really feel the need to pick up a battle droid, even though I'm pretty sure it is a different battle droid to the one that I have, but I'm not looking to start like a battle droid army or anything. They don't look too different or unique, so I did just pick this up. Don't know why I'm pointing at it with my knife. I got it for $13.99, which again is an absolute steal. It's $19.95 originally, but obviously saving a bit of money, can't complain. And yeah, I'm more than happy to have this in the collection. The box is really nice with the red trooper and the red backing. I really dig that look. This thing is going for around £20 new in box online, so definitely happy to get the saving for it. So let's take him out of the box and have a look at the final figure from our toy hunting video. I really shouldn't call it toy hunting, I should call it like 6-inch posable statues, because that sounds a lot cooler than toys. Then again, it doesn't even sound that much cooler. Should just call it what it is. It was a figure hunt. And here we go. Here is a look at the Sith Jet Trooper. Got the big old jet on the back. A really cool looking gun here. I'm really excited to see what this is. It looks like a minigun, chain gun, but small. So yeah, let's crack him out of his plastic shell and we'll take a closer look. We'll just start by taking a quick look at his gun. So we've got some red detailing on here with a bit of silver. Another unique gun for the collection today. Doing well. Comes with a scope, barrel. Kind of looks a bit like a flamethrower, but I know it's not a flamethrower trooper, so it wouldn't be. Just really interesting barrel design there. Very cool looking blaster. again, just like earlier on, but except this time it genuinely is attached to the back. I know we didn't know 100% with the Hoth Trooper, the Snowtrooper that we had, but this jetpack is fitted to the back. I do like the yellow detailing that we have here on the chest and on the jet. I think it just adds to the overall look. It's not just plain red and black. Bit of yellow in there changes things up. Big fan of the mask design for the Jet Troopers, the Sith Jet Troopers. I think the regular Jet Troopers also have this, just in white. Really dig it. I feel like this would definitely make a very cool carbon figure. I don't actually own any carbon figures. I'm not very fond of the carbonized look, but I kind of feel like these Sith Troopers would look really good in like a shiny metal style. Let's take a close-up look at his mask. See the paintwork, solid. I mean, it's kind of hard, there's only a couple of black lines. Kind of hard to mess that up. Same with the chest, nice and easy. Right down to the bottom, he does have a broken ankle from the looks of it. That happens on a couple of Black Series figures, just needs popping back to the side. Uh-oh, we have an imperfection. Just clocked it. That is a big one. Look at that. That's a shame. It is a giant bit of black paint. It's huge. It's massive. No idea what I'm going to get that off with. I might just have to colour match it and paint the boot red if it annoys me enough. I'll have to see when it's on display. That is huge. What a shame, because this figure is nearly perfect. It's a giant black paint smudge. It's very annoying. Try to not focus on it though. Take a look at the jet backpack. Got lots of stuff going on there. Some more yellow detailing. Yeah, very, very dope. Again, big shame. Shame it's not on the back of the leg or something like that where I could hide it. Oh well. So let's take a look at our Jet Trooper with his weapon in hand and we'll get a final look. That is a nice hand fit for the weapon. Didn't struggle too much getting it in there, and yeah, there's a complete look. If I just cover his ugly foot, that is definitely a cool looking figure. Very dope. Alright, so let's get all the figures together and we'll take a quick overview. Alright, so that is going to do it for today's video. There are the 5 figures that we picked up during our figure hunting. I had a lot of fun doing the figure hunting and a lot of fun opening and reviewing these figures. It might be something I do again in the future, who knows. But if you did enjoy today's video, make sure you leave a like down below and I will catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching.